So children, in this video I'm going to explain a few questions of your maths book, chapter number 1, integers, exercise 1.5. In this video I'm going to cover only word problems. Most of the children are having so many difficulty to understand the word problems. So children, please make sure that you read the question statement correctly and try to understand the information which are given in the word problems, and then step by step you have to write each information in your own statement. Fine. So let's start this question number 3. I'm going to start it from question number 3. Is there is a pole of height 45 meters. Okay, fine. A monkey tries to climb the pole by jumping. If he reaches to the top of the pole in 15 jumps, okay, how many meters he can climb in one jump? Fine. So this was the whole question. So to clear this question, I have drawn one diagram, children. Yeah. So imagine this is a pole. Okay, this is a pole of height 45 meters as it was given. Now they are saying if the monkey reaches to the pole in 15 jumps. Okay, so if he start from here, first, second, third jump, fourth jump, like this, in 15th jump he reaches to the pole. 15 jumps he reaches to the pole. Now they are asking that how much distance he is covering in one jump. In one jump, how much distance he is going to cover. So this was the diagrammatic explanation. Now let's start the solution. Yeah, first rule for the word problems are you have to write the information given in the question in your own words. So first of all we are going to write height of pole, which is given 45 meter. Fine. Then what the next thing is given? They are giving that in 15 jumps he is at the top. So let's write number of jumps is 15 jumps. So this was only two information given. Now they are asking the in how much distance he will be covering in one jump. So the last statement only we will be writing here, distance covered by monkey in one jump. It will be equal to 45 divided by 15. 45 divided by 15. So when you simplify it, it will give you answer 3. So 3 meters. The last step left is to write the answer statement correctly. To write the answer statement, children, always you have to take the help of the last statement of the question. In this question they are asking how many meters he can climb in one jump. So directly you write your answer as hence monkey can climb 3 meter in one jump. So this was your question number 3. So now let's move to question number 4. In this they have given that in a class test +4 marks are given for a correct answer and -2 marks are given for incorrect answer. Means if the child is doing one answer correctly, he will score 4 marks, and per wrong answer from the final score, from the final marks, -2 marks will be deducted per wrong answer. Then a student scored 60 marks in total, and they have given that he attempted 20 questions correctly. Okay, so out of the whole question he has attempted 20 questions are correct, rest are wrong. So find out how many questions did he answer incorrectly. So that means you have to find out, your task is to find out how many questions he answered wrong or incorrectly. So let's start the solution. Marks for correct answer is +4, and second, marks for incorrect answer is -2. So these two information we have written in short only for our solution. Now next is, they have given that he attempted 20 questions. So number of questions correctly attempted is 20. Okay, number of questions correctly attempted 20, and on the other hand we will write number of questions incorrect. Children, these statement you can write in other way also. You can write number of incorrect questions or number of correct questions, so it depends. You can write any of the statement, but it is compulsory to write the proper statement. Now children, in this question they have not given the incorrect question number. You have to find it out. So here in this case we are taking it as y. This is, we will write here let or assume, because this is not given in the question. We have taken it from ourselves, so it is this. Now moving to the next, what is the next thing they have given? They have given the score. The final score of that child is 60 marks. So let's write this as final scored marks, okay, by student. How much they have given it? 60 marks. Okay, so we have written this bunch of information, this and this last. So all this information we have written here in our own statement. Now after just while gathering all this information, what we can write? We can write, now what we can write now is marks scored for correct solutions marks scored for correct solution. There were 20 questions were correct, and 4 marks will be given for each correct. That means here it will be 20 multiplied by 4 means 80 marks. Here it will be 80 marks will be given for correct solutions. Now similarly we will write marks deduct for incorrect solutions. So we know it is -2 and multiplied by this y. So -2 multiplied by y will give you -2y as it is. So simple. Now next is, simply we are moving to the last step. Hence what we can write? It is 80 minus 2y, total score for the correct answer, and this marks will be deduct for the wrong answer, and hence after calculating this all, the final score of the child is 60. So now simply solve it. This 2y will go to the other side because it contains the variable y. We'll keep the variable terms separate, and this 60 we will bring to the left hand side, and it contains no variable, and 80 also contains no variable. We will write them together. So we can write it as 80 minus 60 is equal to 2y. You know children, when the side changes, sign also changes with it. Okay, so now it will give you 20 is equal to 2y, or the value of y will be 20 upon 2 is 10. So y is equal to 10, and hence the number of incorrect solutions or questions is 10. So in question number 5 they have given that a stationery shopkeeper earns a profit of rupees 2 by selling one notebook. If he sells one notebook, he earns the profit of rupees 2 and incurs a loss of rupees 1 per pencil. And for every pencil he sells, he gets a loss of rupees 1. If on a particular day he sold 30 notebooks, and earned a profit of rupees 50. So find the number of pencils he sold that day. For the solution, what all we can write? First, we need to write the proper information which is given here. So for solution, what all we can write? We can write profit by selling one notebook is rupees 2. So loss by selling one pencil is given rupees 1. So these two information they have given. What the next thing is given to us is number of notebooks. So we'll write it as number of notebooks sold is equal to 30 notebooks. Then number of pencils sold. So this number of pencils sold is not given. So what we will take? We will take that number by y. So we imagine this. So moving further, what the next information given here is the final profit. So final profit earned by the shopkeeper is rupees 50. It is given clearly, the final profit earned by the shopkeeper is rupees 50. So that also we have written here, rupees 50. Now what we can write? Now we can write, what we can write? Profit earned on 30 notebooks. So when he sells the 30 notebooks, how much profit he is going to earn? For one notebook it was 2 rupees. For 30 notebooks it will be 2 into 30 means rupees 60. So total profit earned when he sells 30 notebooks it will be rupees 60. So loss on Y pencils. So loss on Y pencils, because they have not given the number of pencils and we have assumed it from ourselves. So we can write it as loss on Y pencils would be 1 multiplied by Y will be Y only. Fine. So this was the next statement or the information we can write by gathering the complete information given in this solution. Okay, so now we all know this. He was having the total profit as rupees 50. So total profit was rupees 50, and how he is going to get this total profit? So the 30 notebooks profit was 60 and the loss was of rupees Y. This whole is equal to the total profit. Now only we have to solve this equation to get the value of Y. As you all know this, here y is in negative. What we will do, we will take this y to the other side and its sign will change. And this 50 will come to the other side. 60 minus 50. Here 50 is positive. When it changes its side, it becomes negative 50. And y here is negative. When it changes its side, it becomes positive y. So here we got the answer 10 is equal to y. Means what was y? Y was the number of pencils sold. So here we can write it as 10 is equal to y. We can write it as 10 also. And simply now we got the answer. The number of pencils sold is equal to 10 pencils. So this was question number 5. The temperature of London on a particular day of winter is 8 degrees Celsius above 0. Above 0 means always it is in positive way, positive side. Plus 8 degrees Celsius you can say as. At 10 am. It decreases at the rate of 2 degrees Celsius per hour. So it is decreasing at 2 degrees Celsius per hour until midnight. Now they are asking that at what time temperature will be 6 degrees Celsius below 0. Below 0 means now they are asking about minus 6 degrees Celsius. They are asking at what time it will reach to minus 6 degree Celsius. And they are asking one more thing, that what would be the temperature at 10 p.m. So children, there are two methods to do this question. First, I have drawn one number line here like this to explain this clearly. Now try to understand with this method first. In this method, we'll start from here. Why? Because they have given these two temperature as their information. In the first line only, they were saying that it was 8 degrees Celsius above 0 means plus 8 degrees Celsius at 10 am. So I have written at 10 am it was plus 8 degrees Celsius. So moving further, because why we are moving in the negative side? Because it's decreasing. Because it is decreasing. If it gives the increasing, then we are supposed to move to the positive side. So now at 11 am the temperature would be 8 minus 12, 6, and at 12 it would become to 4 degrees Celsius. Then at 1 it would be 2 degrees Celsius. At 2 p.m. now it is p.m. it will become 0. Then at 4 p.m. it will be minus 2, because 0 minus 2 is minus 2. It is decreasing 2 degrees Celsius per hour. So we are doing the same. Now next hour, that is 5 p.m. it will reaches to minus 4, and at last I missed this. It would be 3 p.m. it would be 4 p.m. and this would be 5 p.m. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It will reach minus 6 degrees Celsius. Then if we continue, because we have to give the temperature for 10 p.m. also, so we will move further. It would be at 6 p.m. minus 8, at 7 p.m. minus 10, at 8 p.m. minus 12, at 9 p.m. minus 14, and 10 p.m. what they were asking about, it will show the temperature minus 16 degrees Celsius. So here you can see we got the answer of both the questions. So by seeing the number line, you can write directly from the above number line. What you can do, you can write directly that the answer of the first question, at what time the temperature will be 6 degrees Celsius below zero. So minus 6 degrees Celsius, where they were showing minus 6 degrees Celsius, they were showing it here. Minus 6 is here, and the time was the time was 5 p.m. So from the above number line you can answer at 5 p.m. temperature will be 6 degrees Celsius below zero. So this is your first answer. Okay, so first observation. For the second observation, they're asking in the second is, what would be the temperature at 10 p.m. So moving further, we can easily see this. At 10 p.m. the temperature was minus 16. So simply we have to write at 10 p.m. the temperature would be minus 16 degrees Celsius, or what you can write 16 degrees Celsius below zero. In the other way also we can do this. See, we have been given this information as temperature at 10 a.m. given, that is 8 degrees Celsius, and final temperature also it is given to us, that is minus 6 degrees Celsius, that is below zero. Okay, now what we are going to do, we will find out the difference in these two temperature. So from 8 degrees Celsius to reach minus 6 degrees Celsius. So what is the temperature difference between these two temperature? So the difference between these two temperature would be 8 minus minus 6, because we have to find out the difference. This minus will come, and this temperature 6 was itself in negative. So like this 2 minus sign will come here, and when we will open the bracket, it will give us 8 plus 6, which is equal to 14 degrees Celsius. So the temperature difference is 14 degrees Celsius. Okay, so the next information which is given to us is the decreasing rate. So per hour 2 degrees Celsius, we know this, the temperature is decreasing with this rate. So now what we will calculate, we will calculate the time, how much time it will take to cover this 14 degree Celsius temperature. So time taken to reach final temperature is from this, that is given to us, that is minus 6 degrees Celsius. So how much time it will take to cover this 14 degrees Celsius by decreasing rate 2 degrees Celsius per hour. So we'll divide 14 divided by 2 will give us 7 hours. So it will take 7 hours to reach positive 8 to minus 6. So we got our answer as 7 hours. Now what we will do, the last step, we know that the initial time was given to us was 10 p.m. It was given to us in the first statement only. It was 10 p.m. Now, sorry, 10 a.m. So from 10 a.m. if you count 7 hours, 10 a.m. if you count 7 hours, the time, the final time would be 5 p.m. So that only I have written as the last answer statement. Hence at 5 p.m. the temperature would be minus 6 degrees Celsius, because when we add 7 hours to 10 a.m. we got the answer is 5 p.m. Question number 7. In this question they have given that an elevator descends in a coal mine at a rate of 8 meters per minute. Okay, if descent starts from 25 meters above the ground level, how long will it take to reach down to the mine? Given that the depth of the mine is 375 meters below the ground level. So children, I have drawn the diagram also to explain this clearly to you. See, if you see this diagram clearly, I have drawn first the ground level. Okay, so this is the ground level, and 25 meter above So the current position of the elevator is 25 meters above the ground level. So right now here this point can be taken as the current position of elevator, which is 25 meter above the ground level. Now they are saying that below the ground level the mine is at 375 meter. Okay, that means the position of mine is 375 meter below the ground level. Mines are always underground. Okay, so the distance is this. Now elevator is here and elevator has to cover this whole distance to reach the mine. So how much distance it has to cover? This 375 plus 25. Okay, going to start the solution. Speed of elevator when it descends. It is given to us as 8 meter per minute. Next, now we know that the total distance has to covered by the elevator is 25 plus 375. Let's write this directly. Total distance to cover by elevator to reach down the mine. So 25 meter above the ground level plus 375 meter below the ground level. Okay, so let's add this. It will give you 25 plus 375 means it is total 400 meter. Now the time taken to reach down the mine is equal to, total distance was 400 meter and per minute is 8 meter. 8 meter per minute. So we'll divide it by 8 meter. So our answer will come 50 minutes. So your answer is 50 minutes. Fine. So this was your solution. Here simply write down your answer. Thus time taken by an elevator to reach down the mine is equal to 50 minutes. So this is your final answer. I hope this is clear to you all. This was the last question from exercise 1.5 word problems.